Hello and welcome to episode 11 of the Renault Master Camper Conversion. In this episode we're going to be covering the bench and its design. I've already started building it by putting in this support here, which doubles up as a structural support for the bed, and I've put it on top of this rail so we spread the load. The same with this one here. This is the back of the bench where the ply sits. On this little bit here, again, we have a component going down to spread the load onto this cross beam. I've also tied it into the wall, so this corner is nice and strong now. And the reason I want this corner strong is because this is going to be the entrance point to the bed. So there's going to be a step here. The second step will be the bench itself. Third step not yet designed because we want to use this cavity here to slide in a folding table. Moving on to the other side. Now, the kitchen worktops come to here, the units around that's the maximum it will come out. So I put that there. That's the farthest that way it can go, and then I put in a pillar there to support this part of the bench, just to stop it waving around, to give some structural support, as well as this is going to be giving more support to the bed. I need to support this side, not yet figured it out, because the kitchen worktops are most probably going to go all the way over there. And the bench is also going to be slightly angled at the sides, just for comfort. You don't want everything upright and sit like that, so we want to be able to lounge a little bit. I'm still designing as I'm building. I just didn't have the time to sit down and plan it all out and draw it. Kind of had a little mental idea of what I'm going to do. So yeah, I'm just designing and building as I go along, really. And then any issues I get, I'm rubbing them out and redesigning. I'm going to stop the video now and then carry on with designing this bench and building it, and then I'll give you another update of how it's going and what I'm doing. Moving forward with the bench now, I fitted this pillar in, which doubles up as part of the kitchen, and then I've managed to put the top part of the bench in, which is in at an angle, and I've just cut the top of this one angled so it's now flat. So that means the kitchen worktop sits on top of there, and then the side of the bench goes in there at a slight angle. I'm going to get the back and the sides of the bench done now. I've done the base a few days ago because it was already cut to size on the wall saw. I just had to nail it down. I've been using it as a bench and putting tools on it, being careful not to damage it. But I've got the ply here and I thought I'd get another job done. So I've put a batten along the back of the base because it's a bit bowed. I've clamped it up and now I'm going to get the sides done. Once the sides are done, I'm going to scribe them on the back and then cut the back to the same shape. Maximising the space because there's a little cavity down there which can be accessed from the back, so we can slide stuff into that. The way I'm doing the sides is I'm putting them in where they go, which is flush with the top of this, and then I'm measuring the top here, the gap, which is about 50 millimeters, sorry, and then I'll use something that's 50 millimeters to scribe it in. Now if I cut that line, it should go tight back against that back piece. I'm using the same technique for the other side, except I'm using a bigger piece of timber. Because this side's higher, the gap is bigger. I'm going to cut them now, and then I can move on to the next stage. Now this side is cut and it's a tight fit, I've marked here. And just take note that I've stepped it back a little bit so I can put a bit of finishing timber over the front to make it look nice. I've then transferred that line up there, and then I can transfer both these lines together, and I'll cut that off there. As for this side, I've scribed the back piece, so now I'll cut the back to the same shape as the side. And with this side, we're going to have to adapt it a little bit because we have the bracket which is behind here. I've had to take it off. Same bracket as this. We're going to want a little gap here, so that the top of the bed can drop down and slide in behind there. So that little bracket will be hidden. So I'm going to adapt how I'm building this side. Haven't planned it yet. I'm going to figure that out, and then I'm going to maybe frame it out a little bit, bring it to the right, and then that will allow for the bed lugs to go in and be hidden. The bench is nearly complete now. I've screwed the back from underneath and nailed into the top. So I want it to look neat. I'm going to varnish it and put pillows over the top. This piece here, I have drawn a line either side. I've just realised that there's a beam under there, so I probably can't get in there to screw it up. But I can nail it into this beam. I can screw it from the back of there, and then I can just put some nails down. Because it being a small piece, it shouldn't move. This one, I have stuck a batten on there because I'm going to stick the tongue and groove cladding on here. I've had to bring it out further so the tongue and groove is flush, and then when I make my nosing piece, I'll make this one a little bit thinner. One thing I do, I had to move it forward a bit because I'm going to put tongue and groove cladding on here, tongue and groove on here, covering the joint. So I've ended that there where the tongue and groove finishes, so then it can come up a nice uniform line. So that's why the batten's on the back, and then the support for the bed should slot in down there. So this one I've drawn lines at the front and the back. So now I'm going to drill some holes through there, get underneath and screw it up, and I can also screw it from the back, but I realised that I needed to kick it over a little bit. You can see my original mark, and then I had to move it over 10 mil. So I've already cut the back, so that's a little bit wrong, but I've got enough there to screw on it. It just bugs me that it's not right. I'm really happy with how this bench has come out. It's real comfy as well. We got this foam from Amazon's upholstery foam. Wasn't cheap, but it is comfy. And the back piece, I had some foam. Actually, when I got this bed, it come with a piece of 25mm 1-inch foam. I don't know if it goes on the slats, but it didn't look right for us, so we didn't use it. So it come in perfect for the back piece for the bench. We also have some more, so we might make the side pieces. But we are starting our journey today, so we didn't have much time left to complete the van, but it's usable and it's comfortable. I also put in this little side piece of tongue and groove. I just cut the tongue and groove off of it to match the sides. I didn't blowtorch it like the rest, so it's matching the colour there. I needed to get that in before I put the cupboard in for the kitchen, so I've done that, and this side not yet had time to complete. But as for comfort, it's pretty good and I'm pretty happy with it.